Hi, TikTok. So, I'm an American living in Germany, and I'm asking you to stitch this. If you're an American living abroad, please tell me why you would never go back.
Financial stability. My apartment is paid for. MRIs are so much cheaper here and affordable. I can safely take walks alone at night. Everything's walkable. Public transportation is so good.
Okay, so this is mine.
Okay, no hate to this creator whatsoever. I'm actually going to answer this question in another stitch. I'll put that in the comments so you can find it. But I do quickly want to point out 3 different privileges that come along with this question. Number 1, huge reason why I'm able to live in France long term is because of my US American passport. So yeah, I don't want to go back to the US, but being from the US is a huge reason why I'm able to leave in the first place. Second point, there are a ton of people in the United States who are from the United States who have the US American passport who still are not able to leave, even if they want to. And my third and final point, there are a ton of people all around the world who are trying to get to the United States. Oftentimes they will be going through an excruciatingly long process in order to just make it there. Often that process never comes to fruition. Some people can't even apply in the first place. So I don't say all of this to prevent any critiques towards the US. There's a lot to critique. But I do just want to make sure that I'm being mindful of the privileges that come along with being a US American citizen. Especially one that does not want to go back.
Well, I have a long list of reasons why, but I'm going to mention just a few of the more important ones here. Number 1, work-life balance. Instead of working 70 hours a week, now I work 35 to 40, and this is considered a lot, especially for my profession as an English teacher. Number 2, the relationships you have with other people, they're more based on qualities and characteristics of a person as opposed to status and what you do. Number 3, healthcare, affordable healthcare. Hello. And number 4, the lack of violence and extreme racism and all of those things. I mean, don't get me wrong, these things still exist here in Europe, but not to the extent that they do in the United States of America. And number 4, the food.
Oh God, where to bloody start? Hi, US American here who's been living in Spain for the last 3 years, and I actually get asked this question a lot, especially when I was in the States earlier this year. A lot of people ask me, will you ever move back? Short answer, absolutely fucking not. First, the healthcare here is incredibly cheap. I am not yet a permanent resident, so I don't qualify for the free healthcare, so I have to pay for healthcare through private insurance, and it costs me less than $1,000 a year for full coverage, including dental, no copays, nothing. The second thing is the overall lifestyle here is so much healthier. The food is much better quality, people go out for walks every day, and people also prioritize their lives over their work. People here work to live, they don't live to work. Not to mention it's a multilingual country and people tend to be a lot more tolerant of other cultures. I have more if you want to hear it.
I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I find this ironic living abroad. You're an American living abroad in Germany. You mean you went home? You're not living abroad. You're living at home. I'm Native American. I'm living at home. If I moved to Germany, I would be the American who would be living abroad. So the reason why Americans who are living abroad, if they moved out of the Americas, don't want to come back to the Americas, it's because it's stolen land. That's why they shouldn't come back. That's why. Because it's stolen land and it was taken over by genocide.
I'm not American, but I live in America and I travel quite a bit. This brand new 1-bedroom apartment costs only about $400 a month. And this right here is the view that I wake up to every single day. I can easily get a digital nomad healthcare which costs about $40 a month. I don't have to be force-fed bullshit by the media about being black. I don't have to worry about being shot to death in a shopping mall by some angry narcissist. Although I make more, but I can easily live on $1,000 a month if I wanted to. Now I can actually afford nice things, go to nice dinners with friends without having to worry about some unexpected expense coming up. Look, I can go on and on and on. And while I'm grateful that I can even call myself a US resident despite my background, there is so many things I would change.
Responding to the stitch, if you were an American living abroad, that is me, why would you never go back to the United States? I will put the original creator in the comments. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's just do a speed round. Affordable healthcare. I literally went to the doctor the other day and only paid €7 for a doctor's appointment. And if I wasn't insured, this only would have cost me €20. In the US, with insurance, that would have cost me at least $30. I'm not afraid of my students pulling out a gun at the university where I work. Self-explanatory. The food. Sick days are not the same thing as vacation days. You're allowed to be sick. A full-time job here is 35 hours a week as opposed to 40 plus. You are not expected to answer work emails or do work after hours or on the weekends. The government offers financial assistance to decrease the amount of your rent if you make a low enough income. Tenants here have rights. I could break my lease and not face any financial consequences. Just in general, there's way more vacation days. Things like climate change are not up for debate. In general, people here are just way more sustainably conscious. For example, if you go to the grocery store, everybody's just expected to have their own bags, and if you don't have your own bag, then you have to pay for one. And finally, public transportation here is way more reliable, at least in Paris. So yeah, if I can help it, I'm never going back to the US.
Healthcare. I've lived abroad now for, I think, going on 12 years. I've lived in South Korea, Australia, Colombia, and now in Germany. And without a doubt, the number one reason I still live abroad is healthcare. I have several chronic health conditions, including asthma. And here in Germany, I get my inhalers, my albuterol, for free, which was like mind blowing when that first happened, when I was living, I think, in Korea at the time. But yeah, I get my inhalers for free. As a master's student here, I paid €85 a month for comprehensive health insurance. And during that time, I also had an experimental ear surgery. I had a very severe ear issue, which is very rare. And yeah, I had an experimental surgery and I got an apology letter from my health insurance apologizing that I had to pay €10 for staying an extra night in the hospital. €10. They apologized.
Okay, so I am not an American living overseas. However, there is a trend forecast that within the next 6 years, if America cannot get its shit together, there is going to be a large exodus of Americans fleeing America and moving overseas, even South America, a lot of the Caribbean area, Europe, a lot of different places. It's going to be a large number of Gen Zs, so straight out of high school, college age, Gen Zs, young 20-somethings, and then you're going to see a lot of millennials, especially a lot of millennials without children. Their boomer parents are going to be dead. They can't afford houses, but they can afford houses overseas because they're going to inherit some money. So yeah, that is the trend forecast in the next 6 years, is you're going to see a large exodus of people from America fleeing because America is not doing well.
Sure, I can give my viewpoints. For context, I'm from South Carolina, but I live in South Korea. I've been here since May 2016. I'm in my classroom now, actually. Yeah, it's a big old classroom. Numerous reasons why I never want to move back to USA. One, the police, American police. Just knowing that, and even me, like when I was living in the US before I moved to Korea, I always got scared of police because I was wondering in the back of my mind that, oh, if I do something wrong, if he pulls me over, what if he shoots me? What if I'm going to die if I get game over right then and there? And just knowing that, well, not just in Korea, but any other countries really, just knowing that, oh, the police, if they're going about their day, I can mind my business, I can do what I need to do and go back home safely. Not got to worry about them ever again. It's an amazing feeling. Reason number 2, healthcare. Just knowing that, oh, if I ever get sick, I can just end up going to the hospital or medical center, get checked out, and go back home. Just, and I had to worry about, oh, am I in network, or will this hospital doctor, will they take my insurance? No. At least in South Korea, I can go to the hospital, whether it be a public or private medical center, get checked out, go home, well, pay the bill, and then go home, of course, and just never have to worry about being in debt ever again when it comes to medical care. Because nobody should have to be in debt for medical care. Just get health care. That should be a right, human right. I don't care what side of political spectrum you're on. Nobody should be in debt. Just to say, or have to worry about, oh, will my insurance cover it? Will my employer's insurance cover it? Or am I in network? No one should have to worry about that. You should worry about getting better, recovering, and go home. That's it. Also, number 3, I just don't have an incentive to move back to USA ever. Like most people who use family or friends, they miss their friends, their family. I miss them too. I miss my family. I miss my friends. Except Bryson Corday. I hate you, Jamal Simmons. I hate you, especially hate you, Reggie Timmons. Now I'm joking. Love you guys. But I just don't have that incentive to move back so quickly. Unless I have absolutely no choice to move back, then I'll do it. But for now, I just don't have it. Lastly, for me, I feel that if I ever move back to USA, I'll probably lose my confidence. I'll probably lose my independence. Because for me, at least, living abroad in general, not just it can't be United States, South Korea, it could be anywhere. Just I felt more confident. I felt more accomplished. I've done more things that I would have ever done if I ever lived in the U.S. Like for example, I became an author. I wrote 2 books, and I'm kind of working on my 3rd book right now. And I would have never done so. I wouldn't have pushed myself to do so if I have still stayed in the USA. And also COVID happened too. That also pushed me to do that too. But yeah, like I said, I miss my family. I miss my friends. And yes, I do miss shopping because I'm a giant. I can't buy clothes in Korea. But other than that, I just can't think of a good reason to move back to the USA. I'll go back to visit, but I ain't moving back.